Welcome to Miss Smith's Math Tutorials. I'm Miss Smith. In this video, we're going to be talking about solve by factoring word problems. In this video specifically, we're going to be using the array model method, also known as the Xbox method. So let's dive right in. The length of a rectangular pool is 3 feet more than twice the width. The area of the pool is 65 feet squared. Find the length and width. Then I've added a formula down here that's going to be helpful to us in just a minute. The area of a rectangle is length times width. Okay, so the first thing we want to do anytime we're given a word problem like this and it gives you a shape or an object is you want to draw that shape. Now I've already got a rectangular pool drawn here. If you don't have one on your sheet, you would definitely want to draw that. It's going to help you kind of lay the information out. So when we read this first sentence, it says the length of a rectangular pool is 3 feet more than twice the width. So whenever we have problems like this, we want to really think about what is the side that we know nothing about? Is it the length or the width? They tell us a lot about the length. They say the length is 3 feet more than twice the width, but they don't tell us anything about the width. So when that happens, we label the width, which would be this side, the smaller side, we're just going to label it W for width. Now the length, it says, is 3 feet more than. Okay, so if it's 3 feet more than, then we're going to be adding 3. But then we think, okay, what are we adding 3 to? We're adding 3 to twice the width. Anytime we twice something, that means we double it, which also means we are timesing by 2. So we know width is W, so we can just say 2 times W, that's twice the width, but then remember it's 3 more than, so we need to add 3 to it. So now we know that the area of a rectangle equals length times width. Well, we know the area. They told us that in the problem, that it was 65 feet squared. We know the length, and we know the width. For the sake of simplicity, I'm actually going to do width times length, and that's just simply because our width here is a monomial, and our length is a binomial, so just because it looks a little better. I'm going to do our width times our length is 65. Now, in order to solve this for W, we're going to want to distribute this W into this parenthesis set. W times 2W, that would give us 2W squared. Now, you might be wondering, where did that squared come from? That comes from the fact that this W has an exponent of 1, and this W has an exponent of 1. And when we multiply with exponents, we add the exponents. So 1 plus 1 is 2. W times a positive 3 is a positive 3W. And then it equals 65. So at this point, it's very important that we notice that this is a quadratic equation. And the reason I know it's a quadratic equation is because we have an exponent of 2, and that is our highest exponent. When that happens, that means we have a quadratic, and we solve quadratics typically by factoring. In order for us to factor this equation, we need it to be in standard form. And standard form, I'll just write it up here, would be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is very close, but it's not quite in standard form. And the reason why is because we don't have an equals 0. So we need to get an equals 0. In order to do that, we're going to subtract 65 from both sides. Now I can't combine that 65 with either of those terms. None of these are like terms. We've got a W squared, a W, and a constant. So we can't combine any of them together. But what we can do is just rewrite it. So 2W squared plus 3W minus 65 equals 0. So now we have a quadratic equation that is in standard form. So now we can move ahead with factoring. And again, as I mentioned at the start of this video, we're going to use the Xbox method, also known as the array model method. The first step of our Xbox method is to label our A, which in this case, notice A is in front of the x squared. So A is going to be 2 in front of our W squared. Our B is in front of the just X. So in this case, the just W is going to be positive 3. And C is going to be our constant, which comes last, in this case, negative 65. Now that we've got our A, B, and C laid out, we need to build our X of our Xbox. And if you want, you can go ahead and draw the box too, right? So we know we're going to use this X, and then with the Xbox method, we're also going to use a box, which I'll go ahead and draw. So it's a 2 by 2 box. Okay, now what do we do with this X in this box? Well, with the X, at the top, in this top of the X, we're going to put A times C. And in the bottom of the X, we're going to put our B value. Now, what is A times C? So that would be 2 times negative 65. Well, that would give us negative 130. And then our B value, positive 3, goes in the bottom. We're going to fill in these two sides of the X. We need two values here that multiply to give us negative 130 and that add to give us positive 3. And there's only going to be two numbers that will fit in here and work. I'm going to show you a calculator trick that you can use. So if you bring out your graphing calculator, what you're going to do is go to your y equals, and we're going to type in this top value, 130. Now I know you're probably thinking she should be typing in negative 130. It actually doesn't matter. The factor numbers are still going to be the same. Now we're going to type in divided by x. Now we're going to hit second graph. This is going to pull up a table of values. And what this is all of the factors that go into 130. We don't care about the decimals because in this x, we don't want any decimals, only whole numbers. We've got to figure out two numbers that are going to add together to give me 3. One thing we should point out is our signs here. Before we start scrolling down and trying to figure out which of our two values will add to give me 3, let's think about our signs for a second. If we're multiplying two numbers and we're getting a negative, the only option is for one number to be negative and the other number to be positive. That's the only way it's going to work. So now that we know what our signs are going to be, let's try to figure out our values. So 1 and 130, is there any way I can add those together and get 3? No way. That logically doesn't make sense. What about 2 and 65? Again, no. Logically, that doesn't make sense. What about 5 and 26? Okay, our numbers are getting a little bit closer together, which is what we want, but not quite enough. There's no way I can add 5 and 26 and get 3, right? So let's keep looking. I see 10 and 13. Now 10 and 13, yes, I see that those would have a discrepancy of 3. That would be our two values. Now just as a quick side note here, if you kept scrolling and you're going to see the repeat of 13 and 10, that means you've seen it all. Once you've seen a repeat 10 and 13, 13 and 10, you know you're done. So now we know our two values. They're going to be 10 and 13, but which one will be the negative? You may just want to try both, right? You could try negative 13 plus 10, but that's going to give you negative 3, which is not what we need. We need a positive 3. So the only way we can get the positive 3 is to have a negative 10 and a positive 13. Now that we know our values, we can move on to our box. Now this box is always going to work the same way. We're going to follow the same pattern every time. Our first term is always going to go in the first box. So this is 2w squared. Our second and third boxes are going to be our new terms that we found. So -10 and +13. But we have to make sure that we include a W with them. The reason being that these two boxes are really going to be our new B values. And notice B value has a W with it. So we need our two new B values to also have W with them. So -10 W and +13 W. And then in our last box will always be our last term, -65. Now that we have the box completed, what we're going to do is factor our GCFs up and out. And so I'm going to draw like a little arrow so we'll remember. I like to start by going up here and up here. So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out between -10W and -65, what is the GCF between those two values? So between 10 and 65, what is the greatest number, the highest number that goes into both of them evenly? We could use a guess and check method just to think, okay, what goes into 10 and then check which of those is the highest number that also goes into 65. That's an option, but I'm going to show you a really cool calculator trick. Your calculator will actually find the GCF for you. Now, it'll only do 2 numbers at a time, but hey, for this box, that's exactly what we need. So on your graphing calculator, if you hit the math button, and then we right arrow over to number, and then we want number 9. So we can either scroll down to 9 or we can just hit 9, but it's going to say GCD. GCD stands for greatest common denominator. It's the same thing as GCF, greatest common factor. It's just a different way to say the same thing. So we want to know the GCF between 10 and 65. So what we're going to do is type in 10, and then this comma button, and then 65. Close our parentheses out and hit enter, and it will tell you your GCF is 5. I know that at least with the TI-84 pluses and earlier editions, this will only do 2 numbers at a time. So if I tried to do 3 numbers, it won't work. So we've got our 5, our GCF of 5, and then whatever this sign is will always come out. So in this case, it's a negative, so I'm going to pull out the negative. Now I can't pull out a W because even though the 10W has one, -65 doesn't have a W, so I can't pull a W out. They would both have to have one. Okay, so we did our first GCF. Let's do the next one. 2W squared and +13W, so we're factoring our GCF up. Between 2 and 13, there is not any GCF between 2 and 13 other than 1. So I could write a 1 here, but let's see if there's anything else. We've got a W squared and a W. So remember, they both have to have at least one W, which they do, and they both have to give me the same amount. It's kind of a weird concept to think about, but think about it like I can only take what each term can give me. So this first term can give me 2 W's, which is great. But the second term can only give me 1 W. That means I can only take 1 W. So we could put a 1 in front of the W if we want, or we can just leave it W. I'm just going to leave it W. Okay, now we need to do the same thing, but we're going to factor GCF out this way. So between 2W squared and -10W, our GCF is going to be a +2. And can I pull a W out? W squared, 1W, so I can pull 1 out. Next, we've got a +13W and a -65. So I'll go ahead and let you know that the GCF here is 13. If you were unsure of that, definitely use that calculator trick. And not only is it 13, but we always factor out whatever that sign is. So we see that it's a plus, so we pull out a plus. I can't pull a W out because even though the 13 has one, the -65 doesn't, so I can't pull a W out. So what I've created here with these two outside pieces are my two parenthesis sets. So my first parenthesis set is going to be w minus 5. And my second parenthesis set is 2w plus 13. Multiplied together equal 0. So now that we have our two parenthesis sets, we can split them up and set them both equal to 0. So our first one will be w minus 5 equals 0. And our second one will be 2w plus 13 equals 0. Now we want to solve each of these for w. So for this first one, we want to add 5 to both sides, and we get w equals 5. For this second equation, we want to subtract 13 from both sides, and we get 2w equals negative 13. Now w still isn't quite alone, so we do want to divide out this 2, and that's going to lead us with w equals negative 13 over 2. This could be a little confusing, right? Because we have two answers for w. So we need to look at the context of the problem to help us figure out which answer we can use. Does it make sense that we could measure a side of a pool and get a negative measurement? That wouldn't make sense, right? When we measure, we're using positive numbers. So we can actually take our negative answer and throw it away. We only need the positive version because this is a real life problem. We know that w is 5, so our width is 5, and that's part of our answer. We can go ahead and write it out, that the width is 5, and don't forget our units were feet. But they also wanted to know length. So in order to find length, I just go back to this original setup, and I remember that this is 2 times the width, and we know the width now is 5, so 2 times 5 plus 3. Now 2 times 5 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13. So now we know the length too. The length of this pool is 13 feet. Thanks for watching. This has been Miss Math Tutorials.